Welcome to Beyond the Stars. Today we will dive into a world that seems like it came out of a science fiction novel, a planet the size of Earth, but it has turned into an unbearable hell. It is Venus, the evil twin that hides secrets that may change our understanding of the universe. A temperature that melts lead, an air pressure that crushes submarines, and toxic clouds of sulfuric acid. So how did this planet become so terrifying? And could its clouds be home to alien life? Let's find out together. Venus is the second planet from the Sun, but it is the hottest in the solar system. Venus is about 108 million kilometers from the Sun, slightly less than the distance between the Earth and the Sun, 149.6 million kilometers. Venus has a diameter of about 12,104 kilometers, which is very close to the diameter of Earth, which is 12,742 kilometers. Its mass is about 81.5% of the mass of Earth. Venus rotates in the opposite direction to most other planets, which means that the Sun rises in the west and sets in the east for its hypothetical inhabitants. A day on Venus equals 243 Earth days. It rotates on its axis very slowly. While it takes 225 Earth days to orbit the Sun, that is, it completes its orbit around the Sun faster than it rotates on its axis, temperatures reach 470 degrees Celsius, enough to melt zinc. The atmospheric pressure on Venus is 92 times the atmospheric pressure on Earth, like diving 900 meters under the ocean. If you tried to stand here, you would become like a crushed soda can. That is, if you didn't choke on carbon dioxide first or dissolve in a drop of sulfuric acid rain. The secret of the atmosphere, and why is Venus called hell? The atmosphere of Venus is 96.5% carbon dioxide, with a small percentage of nitrogen. It also contains dense clouds made of sulfuric acid. But how did it get to this state? As a result of the runaway greenhouse effect, it suffers from an excessive greenhouse effect due to the high concentration of carbon dioxide, which leads to a huge rise in temperatures. The clouds here revolve around the planet every 4 days at a speed of 360 kilometers per hour, while the planet itself rotates around itself once every 8 months. It's a paradox that has scientists baffled. Are Venus and Earth twins that have separated from each other? Billions of years ago, Venus had oceans like Earth, but the turning point came. Venus lost its water due to its proximity to the Sun. Without tectonic plates, this has led to the accumulation of lava and volcanic eruptions. Its reverse rotation, it rotates from east to west, perhaps due to a giant collision. If you were on Venus, you would see the Sun rise in the west and set in the east. But you wouldn't live to see that, of course. Let's get to know the surface of Venus and its geography, as the surface of Venus consists of volcanic rocks with many volcanoes, depressions, and mountains. The highest point on its surface is Mount Maxwell, which reaches a height of about 11 kilometers. It is higher than Mount Everest. Venus also contains the largest system of volcanic valleys in the solar system, which extends for thousands of kilometers. There are thousands of volcanoes on the surface of Venus, some of which are active and others have been extinct for millions of years. Venus is believed to have an internal structure similar to Earth's. Core. The core is likely to be solid or liquid and is composed of iron and nickel. The mantle, manteau, consists of rich minerals such as olivine and pyroxene. The crust is relatively thin and consists of volcanic rocks. There is evidence of seismic activity on Venus, as so-called quiet volcanoes have been discovered that release mineral material without violent explosions. Venus also contains unique geological structures such as coronas, which are large circles of raised rocks that indicate past thermal activity. History of exploration and battles with the killer planet. In the Cold War race, the Soviets sent 16 spacecraft to Venus. Venera 7, 1970. The first spacecraft to send data from the surface. It lived for 23 minutes. Venera 13, 1982. De första färgbilder av ytan, innan det vände sig till skräp. NASA launched the Magellan mission in 1989, which used radar to map the surface of Venus in detail. The European Space Agency launched the Venus Express mission in 2005 to study the planet's atmosphere and weather, and in 2010, Japan launched the Akatsuki spacecraft to study the planet's upper atmosphere. Today, NASA is planning to send a spacecraft named after the famous painter Da Vinci. Why? Because it will analyze the atmosphere in search of signs of life. Scientists are studying the possibility of sending new vehicles to Venus to study its interior layers and atmosphere. There are proposals to create robots resistant to high temperatures that can work for long periods on the planet's surface. In 2020, scientists detected phosphine gas in the clouds of Venus, a gas produced by microbes on Earth. They could be microorganisms living in the clouds, or they could be strange chemical reactions that we don't know about. Are these creatures real? The answer may come from the VERITAS mission in 2031. But until then, Venus will remain a mystery. The future of Venus. Will we colonize the clouds? At an altitude of 50 kilometers, the pressure and temperature are similar to Earth's. Here, scientists have imagined building floating cities inside giant balloons. How to withstand sulfuric acid, provide energy, perhaps through solar panels, which would be very effective here. Venus taught us a hard lesson. The universe doesn't care about our dreams. A planet similar to ours turned into hell. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to Beyond the Stars. That supports us a lot because the universe is bigger than the eye can count.